All right. So we are continuing in the Book of Marriage, Level 2, from one of the explanations of the text of Abu Shuja, rahimahullah. That's a beginner's text. Abu Shuja is a beginner's text in Shafi'i fiqh. It's a good place to start if you want to advance in Shafi'i fiqh. Not a good place to start if you are just a beginner. Before Abu Shuja, you learn the Book of Obligatory Knowledge. Abu Shuja is a great book to go to after the Book of Obligatory Knowledge for fiqh. For aqidah, go to As-Siratul Mustaqim after the Book of Obligatory Knowledge. And we're going over the explanation of Muhammad ibn Qaasim Al-Ghazzi. It's a small explanation of Abu Shuja, but very famous, mashallah. And we are talking about the rules of the Iddah and the types of women in their Iddah. A woman in her Iddah is called Mu'taddah. Mu'taddah.
Who?
Huh? So we got so far, and looks like we didn't finish this section. There's no harm in repeating the text with you first, but I'll just translate directly instead of reading the Arabic first. So, Sheikh Imam Abu Shuja, he says, may Allah have mercy upon him. Section. The Mu'taddah, the woman in her countdown, is of two kinds: the widow and the non widow. As for the widow, if she's pregnant, then her iddah is by delivery. If she is not pregnant, then her iddah is 4 months and 10 days. As for the non widow, if she's pregnant, her iddah, her countdown, is until delivery. And if she's not pregnant, then if she is amongst those who have menstruation, then her iddah is 3 intervals, meaning the pure intervals, the clean times. That's the Shafi'i school. And if she were a girl or in menopause, then her iddah is 3 months. And the woman divorced before consummation has no countdown. All of that's for the free woman. I'll draw the tree for you again. So he told us the woman in her countdown, she's mu'taddah. He told us from the beginning, either she's a widow or non-widow. If she's a widow, she might be pregnant. Or she might not be pregnant. If she's a non-widow, then she might be pregnant. Or she might not be pregnant. Uh. So if I wanted, I could have said, The Mu'tadda, she's a widow or a non-widow. I could have said after that, the widow might be pregnant or the non-widow might be pregnant. Then I'll be putting the cases of pregnancy together. But I didn't do it that way, and that's not how Abu Shuja did it. He said the widow might be pregnant or not pregnant. So he put the cases of the widow together. Or the non-widow, she might be pregnant or not pregnant. And we're talking here about a free woman, not a slave woman. So she's pregnant. Her iddah is until she delivers. I'll go ahead and hop over here. If the non-widow is pregnant also, her iddah is until she delivers. And we said in our previous lesson, this pregnancy is due to a marriage. As for if it's not due to a marriage, then it's not the same judgment. Now back to the widow. If she's not pregnant, then her iddah is 4 months and 10 days. Inshallah, you're taking your own notes. You can write down this tree, then go explain it to someone. So we see that the widow who's not pregnant, her iddah has nothing to do with whether she menstruates or not. Non-widow, what if she's not pregnant? Then she has cases. Either she's a menstruating woman or she's not a menstruating woman. So if she's a menstruating woman, then her iddah is 3 purity periods. So does her iddah follow month? No. What if she menstruates once a year? That means she's going to be in an iddah for 3 years, approximately. Doesn't follow months. Follows her own personal menstruation and purity. If she's not a menstruating woman, that's what Abu Shuja meant when he said if she's a girl or she has menopause or is in menopause or has reached menopause. And included in that is a woman who never menstruated even once in her life. Even if she is of menstruating age, but never menstruated once in her life, then she's a non-menstruating woman. Also, if a woman has her womb removed, she's a non-menstruating woman. What's the iddah of a non-menstruating woman? 3 months. Who are these non-menstruating women? Let me list them for you again. 1, a girl. 2, menopausal woman. 3, so those are the ones that Abu Shuja mentioned. 3, a woman who never menstruated, ever. 4, had her womb removed. That's the whole thing there. Any question about this? I think it's very clear and it's very easy. Any person can understand this, inshallah.
I'm sorry, Sheikh. You said there was 4, right?
4, yeah.
Okay. All right.
1, 2, 3, 4.
I got it. Thank you.
You're welcome.
The iddah is for the woman whose her husband died, right?
If she's a widow.
Okay. And so is this judgment for all, even the one that's divorced? Like,
Yeah, that's the non-widow.
okay. Barakallahu.
Amin wa fikum. And when we talk about this non-widow, we're not only talking about divorce. Iddah covers breach of the marriage. Yani, breach of the marriage is broader than divorce. So since we are here, what do we know that breaches the marriage? I'll give you the first one. Divorce. What else? Let's see if we can do 5.
That married.
Khula'. If we say khula' is not a divorce, that's a saying. What else breaches the marriage?
Blasphemy.
Yes. Blasphemy, I'm going to say apostasy. Uh-huh. Yeah. Give me 2 more. 5.
What was the question?
Question is, what breaches a marriage?
Oh. The one is hard unless they divorce it right away. If you say
Well, that's going to be a divorce.
okay.
A person who doesn't read Salah.
Mm.
No. Okay. I think no one's going to tell me. So next one is, you can say, for a married kafirah to embrace Islam. Embracing Islam. It's gonna breach the marriage of that married free woman. She was a kafirah, married to a kafir. She became a Muslimah. What happens to her marriage? It's breached. Her iddah starts. If he becomes a Muslim before her iddah expires, they don't need a new marriage contract. And the 5th one is the mistaken intercourse.
Oh.
In some cases, we'll have to review that another time so we can see exactly. Yeah, Sheikh has a chapter, a section for this in the Bughya. So maybe inshallah we'll review it. Wat'u shubha is what it's called in Arabic. Wat'u shubha. If that's clear. Inshallah that's written clear. Wat'u shubha. Okay. So why we just talked about all of that? Because someone asked about here, this non-widow. And the question was, as if what's on the person's mind is that it's either a case of death, so she's a widow, or a case of divorce. She's non-widow. So I was reminding you that divorce is only one thing that breaches a marriage. The iddah is going to be due to not divorce per se, but breach of marriage. And not any marriage, a marriage that what? Five. Yani, iddah is going to be due to a marriage that, the breach of a marriage that was consummated. Correct. A definition for mistaken intercourse? I don't have a definition for it, but an example of it is like some people, they don't have electricity. A man came home at night and a woman was in his bed and he thought that's his wife. So he had intercourse with her, or let's say he penetrated her. So there's rules here. You're welcome. All right, mashallah. So then Abu Shuja talked about the iddah of a slave woman. He said the countdown of a slave woman by pregnancy is like a free woman. It's like the countdown of a free woman, which means until what? Until delivery. And by intervals, the countdown of a slave woman by intervals is for her to count 2 intervals instead of 3. 2 clean intervals. That's the Shafi'i school. And by months, for iddahs by months, why would a woman's iddah be counted by months? Why would a woman's iddah be counted by months? 5, 4, 3.
You mean non-menstruating or menopause? Good. Those are the
Yes, because she does not menstruate. Her iddah is going to be counted by months because she does not menstruate, such as she has reached menopause. Someone wrote here, she's not menstruating. So this statement needs clarity. Yani. So if you mean by that, she does not menstruate, then correct. But if that statement means, which I don't think that's what you meant, but if that statement means her period is not on, but she does menstruate, but her period, yeah, heck, then it wouldn't work that way. Yeah, she's a non-menstruating woman. Correct answer. Question: can her master have intercourse with the slave woman during her iddah? I never heard about this. So he says here, and her iddah by intervals is for her to count 2 intervals. And her iddah by month, if she's a widow, is by is for her to count 2.5 months, 2 months and 5 days. Sorry, it's for her to count 2 months and 5 days. And her iddah from a divorce, so he specifically said divorce here. So that's because then he's just saying easy words. Otherwise, divorce is not a qaid, laysa bi qaid. Laysa bi qaid. It's not a qualifier, it's not a restriction. It's not limited to divorce. Sometimes the scholars, they talk not in absolute terms. This is not absolute here. Her iddah from divorce is for her to count a month and a half. This is the one who does not menstruate.
what was a month and 5 days?
A month and 5 days. That's the iddah of a slave woman, because 1 month, sorry, not a month and 5 days, a month and a half. A month and a half is half of 3 months.
Barakallahu fikum. Because you say the month in the 5 days.
Did I say a month and 5 days? Up here is 2 months and 5 days.
Okay, Barakallahu fikum.
Ameen wa fikum. 2 months and 5 days. Down here is a month and a half. So let me repeat. The iddah of a slave woman by pregnancy is what? Is like the iddah of a free woman. So until she delivers. And her iddah by intervals is for her to count 2 intervals. And her iddah by months. This means she doesn't menstruate. If she were a widow, is for her to count 2 months and 5 days. That's half of 4 months and 10 days.
Mm-hmm.
And from a divorce, then I pause here to say, laysa bi qaid. It's not absolute terms, divorce here. It's for her to count a month and a half. This one who doesn't menstruate. Because she's counting by month.
So it is across the board half of the free woman.
Yes. Half of the free woman except in the case of pregnancy.
Not until delivery.
Yeah, until delivery. That's why he says, كَعِدَّةِ الْحُرَّةِ. The iddah of the slave woman is like the iddah of a free woman if it's by pregnancy.
That's understandable. Thank you.
You're welcome. And then he says, and if she were to count 2 months, that's better. She says a month and a half. If she were to count 2 months, that's better. All right. So this is a very easy chapter, really. MashaAllah. I think. Let's look at the explanation again. I'll just translate directly, though. Section about the rules of iddah and the types of counting women in her iddah. He said, what is the month and a half? The month and a half is the iddah of a slave woman who does not menstruate. Not in the case of being a widow. Slave woman, a non-widow slave woman who does not menstruate. A month and a half. Bismillah. So he says in the explanation, section about the rules of the iddah and the types of women in their iddah. And linguistically, the iddah is the name of i'tidad. It's an alternative word for i'tidad, which is a source noun. That's linguistically. Religiously, it is a woman's waiting. According to this author, his definition is a woman's waiting for a duration by which the emptiness of her womb is known. A woman's waiting for a duration by which the emptiness of her womb is known. Either by intervals or by months or by delivery. We commented on that definition, which is that the entire iddah is not needed for this goal. For that to be its definition, but the entire iddah is not needed to achieve what is put here as its definition. So then it is not put forward merely for this purpose, so that is its had. What's a had in Arabic? Had is limit. They use this word had to mean definition also. They use the word limit, yani had, to mean, they use it to be meaning definition. Why is a definition a limit? Because it should be telling you exactly what it is you want to know. So that it's telling you everything that should be there should be mentioned, and nothing that shouldn't be there is mentioned. There shouldn't be anything that shouldn't be there. So that's its very specific definition. And everything that should be there should be there. It is there. So then this definition, it's not most exact definition. We'll see what else we have, inshallah. Now I don't have something else in my mind. But we did learn, Sheikh Samir taught us, that this is not uh, the sole goal of the iddah, because the whole thing is not needed for that. And that rather it is obedience to Allah. So he says, the woman in the countdown is of two types, the widow and the non-widow. The widow whose husband died, if she's free and she's pregnant, then her iddah is until delivery. Complete delivery, meaning even until the second twin comes out. The second of two twins comes out, then her iddah is over. As long as it's possible that that's the dead person's child, then that's how we judge. Such as the case of a child that is denied by li'an. A child denied by li'an, it is still possible to be the child of the man who's denying the child, isn't it? Yeah, maybe he's wrong about this child. So that's what the explainer is saying here, that this is going to be her iddah, even if it's just possible that that's the child of the dead person, like in the case of li'an. Had a child died, a child who cannot impregnate a woman. Yani, a woman was married to a child who is not able to impregnate her. And she's pregnant though, and then the child died. I put this in parentheses last time. I didn't talk about this case. I was saying to myself, what did I say last time? Forget it. I don't want to finish talking there. Now, if she's not pregnant, then her iddah is 4 months and 10 days with their nights. And what's considered our lunar months. And we talked about what you do. This is why we have all these numbers written here. What do you do if you didn't start on the first of the lunar month? Now, I'm not going to repeat that. Any questions so far?
Yeah, Shay. I have a question.
Yeah.
Going back to mistaken intercourse. You said a penetrated woman, maybe a mistake. May not have. They may not have lights or something like that in the house.
Yeah.
Considers for the woman too, maybe in the house, and she think that a man is in the house that in a bedroom that could have. She think that's her husband.
I don't have any details now to share about the case of mistaken intercourse.
So what I'm asking is, can we
Yeah.
put to you said penetrated woman, but what about the woman who's a husband? She thinks it's her husband. That's what I'm asking.
Yeah, no, I don't have any details. I can't elaborate more for you.
Okay, all right. I just wrote down what
No,
you better.
mashallah. I mean, wafiq. And the real meaning of my example is just to make a person conceive in mistaken intercourse. That's a whole mas'ala, has details, rules. Yeah, and if we started reading in that chapter, it's probably not going to be finished in one session. Probably take several sessions. Yani, let me explain my words for you. I said they didn't have electricity, for example. He came home at night and then he had intercourse with a woman. And then I said, well, let me say penetrated her. Just to even make it more conceivable. Like, what if he thought that's his wife, so he penetrated her, so he realized not his wife, so he stopped, for example. This is wat'u shubha, mistaken intercourse. Because that one instance is enough to make it intercourse. like you know. Then he says, rahimahullah, the explainer says, as for the non-widow, then if she's pregnant, her iddah is by delivery, pregnant with a pregnancy attributed to the one who put her into her iddah. The pregnancy is from the man who put her in her iddah. And question, if a divorced woman was counting down and then her husband died, what would she do? Does she start counting down from the date of his death or to continue what has been counting? I don't know. Or breach of marriage, does that include fasakh? Yeah, that is fasakh. Breach of marriage, does that include fasakh? It's fasakh. It is fasakh. That's the breach, fasakh. So there's more than one way to do a fasakh of marriage contract. Okay, so the explainer says, if she's not a widow and she's pregnant, with a pregnancy attributed to the one who put her in the iddah, then her iddah is until delivery. And if she's not pregnant, then if she is amongst the menstruating women, then her iddah is 3 intervals, which are the pure times. Then we looked at a diagram here to remind you. I'll repeat the diagram for you. Here. So a woman, she's going to be pure. Then she'll menstruate. Then she'll be pure. Then she'll menstruate. Then she'll be pure. And like that. Yani, that's her case. All right. Now, I want to repeat this down here too. So, what's the Shafi'i school? Shafi'i school is that her iddah is 3 pure times. So, if he divorced her while she's pure, that's the first one right there. Then her period comes on. Then it goes off. That's the second one. Then her period comes on. Then it goes off. That's the third one. So when is her iddah over? When her period comes on. When her period comes on, her iddah is over. So supposing she got married the moment her period came on. That's valid, but she won't be able to consummate yet, not until her period goes off. That's the Shafi'i school. So it's the Hanafi school. Hanafi school is the other way. That her iddah is 3 periods, 3 menstrual periods. So when her first period comes on, that's the first one. Then it goes off. Then it comes on. That's the second one. Then it goes off. Then it comes on. Sorry. That's the second one. Then it goes off. Then it comes on. That's the third one. So when is her iddah over? When her period goes off. So, according to this way, if she did a marriage contract, the moment her period went off, she would be able to consummate. So he says, the one who is not a widow, if she's pregnant, her iddah is until delivery if that pregnancy is from the one who put her in the iddah. And if she is not pregnant and she's amongst those who have menstruation, then her iddah is 3 intervals, which are the pure times. Even if she were divorced while she's pure. Even if she's divorced while she's pure. Yani, he divorced her. Bismillah. He divorced her here, this pure time. It's still the first one, number one. Meaning it's not gonna wait until the next pure time to be number one. بأن بقي من زمن طهرها بقية بعد طلاقها. As long as there is some time of purity after he divorced her. He divorced her and she is not menstruating, even for a moment. Then that's the first one. انقضت عدتها بالطعن في حيضة ثالثة. Her iddah will be over by starting the third menses, right there. Starting the third menses. That's the Shafi'i school. أو طلقت حائضا أو نفساء انقضت عدتها بطعنها في حيضة رابعة. But what if he divorced her while she's menstruating or in postpartum bleeding? Let's go back here. Now, this is Shafi'i school, all Shafi'i school. No Hanafi school here. What if he divorced her here while she's menstruating? Then her iddah, the scholars say her iddah doesn't start until here, till the purity time. What does this mean? Her iddah doesn't start until the purity time. Meaning, he extended her waiting time. He extended her waiting time. That's why that's haram. Haram to divorce her while she's menstruating because that's harmful for her. The Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam said, "La darara wa la dirar." Harm is not permissible, and harming others is not permissible. So, if she's menstruating, he wants to divorce her. He has to wait until her period goes off. Then he divorces her without intercourse. He waits for her period to go off. He does not have intercourse with her during that clean time, and he divorces her like that. Then it's permissible. No sin here. He doesn't need a reason for it to not be sinful. But it could be disliked. Like if she is a God-fearing Muslimah, and he has no real reason for this, then this is disliked. Any question here? He said, what's a real reason? Like she doesn't pray. MashaAllah. Tayyib. Let's stop here. We still didn't get out of Iddah section, but it's okay. We benefited, inshallah. You said you gave us an example of a woman that might experience her menses once annually. Okay. How does menopause defined according to Islamic rule in case if her menses stopped while she is counting down? I see your question here. You're saying a woman doesn't menstruate. The time between her menses is far, usually. So then she's a woman who menstruates rarely. And then she got divorced while she's a menstruating woman, but she doesn't get her period normally anyway. And then while she's waiting for her iddah to end, she became a menopausal woman. So I don't know the answer to this. You said, is there a ruling for psychosis after pregnancy? Question is really not clear for me. Yani, does psychosis means insane? You're asking me, is there a rule for a woman going crazy after she gets pregnant? I mean, wafikum. I don't know any special rule for the crazy people. I'm assuming psychosis here means crazy. We say the crazy people are not accountable. Male, female, pregnant, not pregnant, they're not accountable. So you can follow up if you want to. You said, did I hear anything about Omar ibn al-Khattab having a wife who yelled at him? I was told he didn't divorce her for worry of another man having to deal with her. No, I never heard about it before. Postpartum psychosis, never heard of it. But yeah, if she's crazy, she's not accountable. That's the rule. I'm not sure what you might be looking for.
Some women, on rare case, when they give a birth, for a time being, they get sick.
Uh,
Not any sickness, mental sickness, but
uh,
doesn't last long. In this country, there is a medicine. My country used to be, and then if there are patients who the husband has, she will be recovering after that. But in
mashallah.
this country, there is a medicine, but I haven't heard after that. Way back, that's what I heard in my country. And I know some women that happened to them like that.
Mashallah. Thank you.
You're welcome.
So this means they were majnuna, yani majanin or majnunat. If they are crazy, then they are not accountable.
But they recover from that.
Sometimes a person loses his mind and gets his mind back.
Yeah, they recover from this postpartum psychosis.
Okay.
Yes, yes, correct, sister, is correct. I said that. But it's time, just temporary thing. Don't ask me for how long. It wasn't that much long.
So let me just be clear more before I close the lesson down about this question about a woman who has postpartum psychosis. If she loses her mind, then what will you do? I never dealt with a person who lost his mind, so I can just imagine what you're gonna do with the meaning of, I suppose, as things arise, you're gonna know what you need to do. So it's gonna be taking care of an insane person. Supposing the supposing the insanity never went away, and that's supposing it really is insanity, because this word psychosis, uh, that's the terminology of some people. Where they got their terminology from and how do they define this? That's another thing. So that's why I'm just saying, either person's crazy or not crazy, and I'm not gonna like commit to this word or that word, psychosis or something else. So if the person is crazy, then yeah, supposing she stayed crazy, when her postpartum bleeding stops, he can make her take a ghusl, even while she's crazy. Yani, for the sake of his intimacy. And if her period comes on and she's crazy, and then when it goes off, he can make her do a ghusl, like make the intention on her behalf and wash her body. That's valid. He said, does the case of istibra of the slave woman follow the same rules as the iddah of a slave woman? No. Istibra of a slave woman is only one menstrual cycle. Uh, it's going to come. It has its own chapter. Of course, that's if she's a menstruating woman. So we'll see. But it's not the same.